Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I want to give you my first impressions of the Ancient One Tier 3 Mordo Transcendence and then the smaller Clea Caecilius Transcendence No Uni mini update. And I want to emphasize mini update because I think for a lot of players, the majority of players, there is not a lot of content here. The characters are the content, yes, but even though you have an upgrade for Ancient One here, you actually have a downgrade in the support department in some cases because of the switch of the striker skills. And then in Mordo's case, you have a character who still sort of feels like he's from 2016, despite having, updated damage numbers, updated effects, etc. Both of these characters still seem like they're missing a step and missing just a little bit more to put them in the realm of sort of 2021 or 2022 characters, excuse me. And there's some other things that make these uniforms and these upgrades feel a little bit rushed. And then as far as Clea and Caecilius go, I cannot stress how bad these characters were before they got a random Transcendence skill. And unfortunately, the Transcendence skill is not good enough to propel them anywhere near a character like Mysterio. Mysterio is a really good example of a uniform that was just very, very well tuned and good for future upgrades because it has effects that will scale very well. When you have 50% all attack on a uniform, when you get a Transcendence and you get that stat bump, it's fantastic, right? So his energy attack, you can see almost 60,000. That allows him to keep up. That is not the case, right? Clea has no uniform, so her stats are going to be hilariously low, and same thing goes for Caecilius. And then in the case of Mordo and Ancient One, they don't have a lot of stats to begin with, even after the leadership. So even with the 50% increased energy attack from Ancient One, she's still only barely scratching 60k. That's right. Mysterio with no leadership is actually going to outpace Ancient One by default. Yes, and then it's only going to get bigger from there when you actually slap a leadership on him. Now, what other things can I really point to that may indicate that this was sort of rushed? This is one that, although it may not mean much to some players, it will mean something to others, and for me, it does mean something. I can find myself a little bit on the, the critical side at times, but here's the thing. As cool as Doctor Strange's Tier 3 skill is, he has a different awakening, or he has a different Tier 3 animation, the Tier 3 advancement animation. It's not 100% difference than his Tier 3, but for the most part, most characters are, right? Wanda's Tier 3 skill is meatballs. Her Tier 3 animation is a missile and some butterflies. So again, there can be some similar themes, but otherwise it's vastly different, right? Wong creates the library, yada yada yada. Cyclops, he sort of walks towards you and he's like, yo, I'm Cyclops. And then actually, you know what? His Tier 3 skill is pretty much his Tier 3 animation, his Tier 3 advancement animation. What am I getting at here? Ancient One's Tier 3 advancement video is just the Tier 3 skill. It's literally just that. Now, this does look really cool. It does, but it's also kind of lazy, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm tripping because I don't remember Cyclops' Tier 3 animation being exactly the same as his Tier 3 skill. But yeah, like, okay, for example, Odin's a great example. Again, his Tier 3 skill does summon the Bifrost and stuff like that. But you can see we got the birds flying up, and then boom, he comes down. He appears with the horse, right? He's got the platform there. It's really cool, right? You got Silver Surfer, his Tier 3 skill. With this Tier 3 skill, he throws up the blue thing, and then it rains down a bunch of meteors. In this case, Silver Surfer comes out of the sky in space, or comes out of space and destroys all these meteors to save the Earth. And he's like, yo, I'm Silver Surfer. So by and large, characters' Tier 3 animation, Tier 3 advancement is different than their Tier 3 skill animation. I'm sort of using the words interchangeably by accident. I apologize. It's 2:30 in the morning. I had an internet outage, so I'm a bit tired when I'm recording this. But yeah, Ancient One's Tier 3 advancement video is literally just the Tier 3 skill, copied and pasted. And yeah, I know that word is overused in Marvel Future Fight, copied and pasted. Obviously, we're going to have copy and paste when it comes to Tier 3s and things like that because of the fact that there are 249 characters and over 350 uniforms. But man, did you have to do it to Ancient One's Tier 3? Like, could we not have used the sneak peek? The sneak peek was super cool, man. Why couldn't they have used that for the tier 3 animation and saved the tier 3 skill effect and the skill thing here for the actual tier 3 skill? I don't know, but it sort of makes the whole thing feel rushed and feel like the B team is in, and it sort of just passes through to the rest of the update. Mordo, again, they're both lacking really crucial effects like iframe ignore, like accumulation, but they're also missing other simple things like invincibility. Mordo does have super armor for 5 seconds on piercing magic, and yes, Ancient One does have 3 seconds of invincibility. 3 seconds, really? On her third skill, but the third skill has an 8-second cooldown. That's super long, so you end up getting guard broken anyways. And then if you're like, oh, but what about Ancient One as a striker? Ancient One was such a good striker back in the day. Yeah, you're not wrong. Ancient One was an amazing striker. Well, she's still an amazing striker, but if you're actually going to go ahead and use her, okay. If you're actually going to go ahead and use her, you aren't going to get the same value anymore, because now the awakening, oh man, I'm just all over the place here. Now the striker skill, she does her second skill, just as a spoiler alert here, and the second skill is obviously nowhere near as good as the old third skill was. So frankly, you should not buy this uniform. You should only buy the Ancient One uniform if you really intend on tier 3ing Ancient One in order to use them as a support. As a support with the leadership for very specific characters, you're going to get a massive buff, right? For Human Torch, for Betsy Braddock, for Emma Frost, for a couple of other characters that are both blast types and elementals like Mephisto, Mysterio, you're going to get an amazing leadership / support. But keep in mind, if the character is just elemental or just a blast type, you're not going to get the full gamut. You're not going to get the full range of buffs. It's still better than Star-Lord as a leadership, but we're not much further than Star-Lord. So it's not as good as Valkyrie, and it's not as good as other characters there. Outside of that, for Ancient One, you're better off just going back to the old uni or going back to no uni, because then when you equip this one, Ancient One is going to do the third skill, and the third skill is going to have that remove debuff and the decrease buff effect. These are very, very good for World Boss Legend, especially against Mephisto, because it's going to remove debuffs like the burn that he creates. And see, as you walk in and out of the circle, you get that debuff immunity that comes back to you, right? So it's really clutch. And then to the enemies, it applies a buff down, like it decreases their buff effects, which is really good for ABX. So they basically took all of the utility that the character had and got rid of it in place of just a generic lead / support. As far as being a main damage dealer, Ancient One is okay, but you're not going to be anywhere near as good as Doctor Strange, right? So that was sort of to be expected when you're going to compare Ancient One. You're going to compare a new Blast Tier 3. Who are you going to compare them to? Oh, the reigning champion of Blast types, of course. But Ancient One's not even close to like Emma Frost, who came out in January. She's not even going to be close to, I don't think she's going to be close to Betsy. I could be wrong, but she doesn't seem very proc friendly. She has a long cooldown on 5 and a very difficult rotation if you want to cancel. You can try 2 cancel, 3 cancel, 4 cancel, 5 proc. You can definitely try it, but it's difficult. I will say this right now. It is difficult. You sort of have to get the smallest delay. So there, I mean, it's pretty good. You get over 300 hits, but you have to be, if you're too quick, you're going to miss some of the hits. So as you can see there, if you go really quickly through it, if you do like instant cancel, you actually don't get a lot of the hits. So you sort of have to do a delay on all of the skills up until 5. If you do a little delay, as you can see, you're definitely going to clock over 300. But you're also definitely going to proc accidentally on the wrong skills. And then the worst part is the tier 3 skill cannot be canceled. At any point in time, if you cancel the tier 3 skill, you stop doing damage. What was the idea here, guys? This makes no sense at all. And it's a really cool animation, but like it just doesn't flow with the characters. So yeah, the character design for Ancient One and Mordo honestly feels wrong. And it feels like whoever was doing it is an amateur, or they just don't understand the game, because there's just a lot of like 2020, 2019 level mistakes. You have, you know, missing buffs, like crucial missing buffs. You have this confusion between am I PvE, am I PvP, am I support, am I lead, am I DPS, what am I? Weird cooldowns, you know, weird animation lengths, weird uncancelable animations that just don't really make sense in 2022 with how snappy the game is. And so yeah, Ancient One feels like a character who wasn't fully made, and then Mordo feels like a character who was intentionally made to just feel like a character from a few years ago in a way that is nearly annoying. You can cancel his 5th skill after he shoots something in the air. Why is Mordo shooting these random beams of orange light? Is it a shotgun? Is this Fortnite? I have no idea. So this is super weird. And then you can cancel it into his 4th skill. His 4th skill is cool. He uses a whip, I guess. And then when he's done with the whip or the Wand of Watum or whatever it is, he shoots out this little beam of light and he cuts the sorcerer's, mystic circle in half, which is cool. And thematically it makes sense because he wants to get rid of all sorcerers, but you can't cancel this skill. You should be able to cancel it. It looks like a cancelable skill, but it's not. Okay, cool. So what about his 3rd skill? Super long iframe, lots of hits. Awesome. Can you cancel that? You sure can't. Okay, great. So we're back to playing characters who you can't cancel skills on and are not going to do enough damage because you're not going to get enough out of them because you can't cancel any of the skills. So yeah, and then again, you have characters who get guard broken a lot. You have characters with just 1 heal on a skill that doesn't really heal for that much anywho, because it's tied to their uniform effect. It's just all a little bit, I don't know, fussy. It's actually not tied to his uniform, but yeah, it just all seems a little bit fussy. And for the amount of fuss that you need to invest for Mordo and Ancient One, they're not that good. Wong is better than Mordo for speed types, whether it's for PvE or PvP. At least that's what I'm guessing after just testing them for a little bit, but that's what a lot of other people are saying. And then there's, dozens of blast characters better than Ancient One. And Ancient One's actually worse as a support now, as a striker support, because she lost the debuff on that 3rd skill when you use her specifically as a striker, right? So if I go back here and we go and check it out, instead of using the 2nd skill, now Ancient One will use the 3rd skill, and that is what's going to give you that cure buff, right? That cure buff that then gives you, with the 3rd skill, gives you debuff immunity, right? When you're walking inside that circle. So yeah, I think this is a rare L from Marvel Future Fight. And I'm not even going to touch Clea and Caecilius for the time being. I would say only transcend them if you absolutely love them, or in a few months when they're needed for story mode fragment farming. They're not going to be needed for story mode fragment farming next month. It's a misconception that characters that are added to the tier 3 transcended pool get chosen for the story mode the next month. It's literally never happened. There's always a 1-month cooldown, so they won't be chosen in June. The earliest they'll be chosen for is July. So yeah, you don't have to worry about that anytime soon anyway, so don't panic, don't FOMO into any of these uniforms or any of these characters, because honestly, they're not that good. And it sort of begs the question of what else is there, because I do really hope there's more. Doctor Strange and Sharon and Scarlet Witch and Wong were really good. I'm not going to say that they weren't good. They were very, very good, but it's just 3. No new characters and only 3 uniforms for the anniversary so far. As far as the updates go, like, the events have been amazing for the anniversary, but as far as the updates go, it's been a little lackluster. The characters have outside of Doctor Strange, Wong, and Scarlet Witch, there's been, America Chavez is okay. She's actually pretty good. She looks nice. But yeah, I don't know. This mid-month, this sort of Ancient One thing is sort of leaving a bad taste in my mouth. I think whoever did this needs to go back to the drawing board. This was an L. I honestly think they should buff Ancient One. Either buff their damage or buff their support and just, admit that they're just a support. And then for Mordo, I don't know what they can do for Mordo. It's kind of annoying at this point. Make 4 cancelable, I guess. I'm not too sure. His 2nd skill's pretty cool too. Like, they have cool animations, but it's not really enough. It's not really enough to justify investment in these characters. And they don't really do anything quirky for you that you would need, and they're actually kind of more frustrating in some cases because they lose effects that we have used them for years with. So yeah, kind of a rare L. I don't know how much content I'm going to make about these characters because I'd much rather just go back to Wong, Doctor Strange, and Scarlet Witch. With that being said, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of them. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button for more content, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.